Hello everyone, we are Before and today we will present about our final project, Harmony, some problems encountered by second year FLB English majors. And we are Before and we have 4 members. My name is Nguyễn Thị Yến Vy and we have Võ Khánh Linh, Nguyễn Thị Minh Hằng and Nguyễn Phương Liên. And now, let's take a look at our content today. Our presentation today has 6 main parts. The first is introduction, background, methodology, findings and discussion, conclusion, and the last one is references. So now, let's take a look at the introduction of the presentation of Minh Hằng.
Hi everyone, I'm Minh Hằng, and now let's get started our presentation with the first part, introduction and background. The first is introduction. Homonymy is one of the most important types of lexical relation. It can be considered the cause of different linguistic phenomena and have several consequences as a result, such as misunderstanding and lack of communication. And as the future English teacher, we are aware of the necessity of understanding the essence of homonymy and avoiding errors caused by it for the development of vocabulary, in particular, and English competence of learner, as well as the use of appropriate teaching methods of educator in general. So this is what motivated us to conduct this study. And this study aimed to figure out the effects of homonymy caused by the phenomenon that students encounter. From the data collected through document analysis, survey, and interview, we seek to set light on the error, identify, classify the cause of them, and aim to propose the appropriate solution to overcome those problems. And through the deeper comprehension of homonymy, find appropriate learning methods to enhance listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills. Not only that, this study also helps teachers in developing effective instructional approach, and especially in teaching vocabulary. And we move to the next part, is background. We know that the first is definition of homonymy. In English, homonymy is the state of quality of a given word with the same spelling and sound or pronunciation as another word, but with different meanings. Homonymy can occur in various languages, but it is particularly prevalent in English, which has a rich vocabulary with many words derived from different linguistic origins. And our research mentioned 2 main types of homonyms. The first type is known as absolute homonym or full homonyms, which are words that have the same spelling and pronunciation, but have a different meaning. And the second type is partial homonym, which include homophones and homographs. With the first type, absolute homonyms. For example, the word bank can refer to a financial institution or the edge of river or stream. And match, we have the second example is match. Match is a contest between 2 or more parties, or this can be a sport match. And a short, thin speech of a word or cardboard used to light fire. You can see on the screen. And the second type, partial homonyms, which can be further divided into 2 subcategories, is homophones and homographs. Homophones are words that the same word, two words have the same pronunciation, but different spelling and meanings. For example, on the other hand, other words that have the same spelling but different pronunciation and meaning. Like we have example is wide. The first is we pronounce is wind, and the second we pronounce it wide. The first is mean the movement of the air, but the second is mean to turn or close something around air, around axis. That this is our introduction and background of our presentation. Thanks for listening, and we move to the next part of our partner MV.
Hello everyone, my name is Maria, and now I present part 3, methodology. So firstly, let's delve into our research questions. 1. What are problems related to harmony that second-year FLD English majors encounter? 2. What are the causes of those problems? And 3. What are solutions to address those problems? And our study employs a mixed method approach combining both qualitative and quantitative methods to investigate the research questions. And by combining different data sources and using different research methods, we can ensure that our findings are both comprehensive and reliable. The data were collected through document analysis, survey questionnaires, and interviews. Document analysis was used to collect data from existing sources, such as previous research, textbook materials, and the syllabus of the English course. And survey questionnaires and interviews were used to gather quantitative data on the problems related to harmony that second-year FLE English major encountered. So now, let's take a look at our participant. The survey was conducted over 3 weeks and involved 50 second-year FLE English majors of Bing University for both survey questionnaires and interviews. And participants voluntarily responded to an online survey shared in their social media groups on platforms like Facebook and Zoom. And we respect the rights of volunteers and protect their personal information by not disclosing their personal information in any research materials without their prior consent. And the data was collected through the Google Forms platform. The survey is divided into 4 parts. Next slide, please. The first part, we described an overview of the research and collect information from students such as name, class, email, phone number. And in part 2, we gave 10 multiple choice questions based on the IPA symbols. We provide audios of the sentences and note down the underlined word to be identified and ask students to choose 1 or 2 spellings. And similarity with part 3, including 10 multiple choice questions. And with the answers are different definitions of the word underlined in the sentence. And the 10 questions of part 3 were used to interview 20 other participants. The read sentences provided and then define the meaning of underlined words without any given hints. And in part 4, we provided pairs of homographs in pairs of sentences for students to speak and then record. And after that, a folder of participants' audio was automatically updated on Google Drive. And finally, we proceed to draw the necessary conclusions and discuss to propose appropriate solutions to have learners avoid and overcome errors related to it. So now, let's take a look at the next part of the presentation of Lilian.
Hello everybody, I'm Fluin, and now I would like to continue our presentation today with the next part, some typical problems related to harmony that the second FLD majors encountered. After conducting survey and interviews, our team investigated 3 primary problems posed by harmony: mispronouncing the homographs, misidentifying spellings when listening to homophones, and the last one is misinterpreting the meaning of harmonies. Now I will clarify each problem in details. The most serious problem encountered by the pronounced in the homographs with very low average scores in part 4 of our survey. That is 1.03 out of 5 points. Furthermore, 46.7% of the students failed to correctly pronounce all the homograph pairs, and 33.3% of the students were able to accurately pronounce only one pair. Notably, no one were able to correctly pronounce all 5 pairs of the sentences. There are 2 most common mistakes that the participants made. The first one is that they tend to employ the same pronunciation, which is more commonly used for all homographs, regardless of the context. Now take a look at this example. The results show that all participants correctly pronounced the verb produce in the first sentence. However, they use this pronunciation for the noun in the second sentence, which has the right pronunciation that says produce. The second error is the confusion of using pronunciation of one homograph for the other and vice versa. While speaking this sentence, they pronounce this verb as record or record and this noun as record. While the right pronunciation of these words is opposite, that says record for this and record or record for this. In addition, the data collected also showed many participants were confused and slow to react in determining the correct pronunciation in the homographs. Now let's move on to the next problem. Incorrectly identifying spellings when listening to the homophones. The data reveals that 18 out of 30 individuals achieved between 0 and 5 correct responses, and the average score was 4.9. After listening to the recording, most participants tend to select responses based on frequency of the exposure rather than accurately differentiating the appropriate word. In other words, participants exhibited a preference for words with higher prevalence over those with lower one. Question 4 of our part 2 in our survey recorded 20 participants choose the false answer that's fine instead of the true answer that's declined. In fact, the wrong find is more commonly used than the true find. The last problem that we want to mention in our presentation today is misinterpreting the meanings of the homonyms, with the average score a 7.63, which is higher than the scores observed in the listening and speaking part of our survey. It's maybe easier for the participants to determine the appropriate meaning of the word when they can directly observe the textual context. To further investigate the influence of the homonyms on learners' vocab definition and reading comprehension abilities, we conducted a structured interviews with an additional 20 participants. We used the same 10 sentences utilized in the previous multiple choice survey, but not provided any response options. The results obtained are different from the one in the survey. For the homonym belong to different word classes, the majority of the participants demonstrated an understanding of the more common meaning of the word. However, they frequently struggle to accurately identify the less prevalent meaning. The participants also exhibited less confusion between the distinct meanings of the homonyms. In the case of homonyms that share the same word class, a substantial proportion of the participants exhibited confusion between the distinct meaning of the homonyms. Problems that I mentioned above make it difficult for students to evaluate vocab and English skills. So what pose those problems and how to overcome them? Now let's move to the next part of vocabulary.
So, hello everyone, my name is Võ Khánh Linh, and I'm here to continue our group presentation with the next part. Causes of the problem related to homonymies that the second year FLE English majors encounters. So, we have conducted a survey and an interview with the second year student at FLE, and the results illustrate that they encounter numerous errors related to these phenomena. And what are their causes? And now, let me tell you. The first thing that I want to mention is the objective causes of the error encountered by the learners. So, the primary objective cause is the complicated natures of homonymies. Like in English, a single word spelling can be pronounced in multiple ways depending on its specific contextual uses. We have an example here. This word can be pronounced in two different ways. When it is a verb, so the disparity, this disparity leads to the confusions and the mispronunciations of homophones. And another factor of this phenomenon is that identical pronunciation can be represented by multiple spellings. The transcription signs can be spelled in three different ways, as we mentioned on the screen, as you can see here. And moreover, next slide please. Moreover, one tricky aspect of homonyms is that one single spelling can carry multiple unrelated meanings, like they have main meanings and secondary meanings, and learners can tend to focus on the more common ones, which is probably their main meanings, and the less familiar ones tend to be ignored. And the key linguistic differences between English and Vietnamese. In Vietnamese, there is a straightforward one-to-one relationship between the spelling and the pronunciation in the word. Meanwhile, in English, there is many mapping in between the pronunciation and the spelling. And next slide, please. And in addition to the complex natures of the word idioms, the challenges associated with these phenomena also derive from the instinctive factors from the learners themselves. The main subjective causes is that participants lack the deep comprehension of the essence of homonymies in English. They do not fully grasp the essence of the word, and this includes the different type and the error that they can cause. So, not recognizing the word characteristic correctly make it even harder for learners to learn the vocabulary. And secondly, and moreover, the lack of familiarity with the grammatical rules and the contextual usage pattern of the word can also lead to the mistake for learners. Moreover, inadequate analysis or insufficient understanding of the contextual factors can also one of the main factors. If participants do not read the sentence carefully and do not analyze the context well, they might misunderstand the homonyms because of variety in the meaning and the spelling of the word. And last but not least, the lack of adequate instructional guidance from teachers can be one main possible factors. So, English majors have encountered several problems related to homonymies, and it is a really challenging process to avoid or prevent these phenomena. So, here are some of our feasible solutions to address this problem. So first, to determine the right meaning of the word, we need to read the sentence carefully and consider the context, the whole context in which the word pronounce it correctly. Furthermore, learn vocabulary in a certain context can give learners a profound background to identify which meaning and which form of the word that they need to understand. And last but not least, students should get an insight into the distinction between English and Vietnamese homonyms, because there is a big differences between the two languages. So recognizing that one word can have multiple meanings and pronunciation have learners be more careful and reduce the error, reduce the proportions of making mistakes during their task. So this is the end of my presentation, and next is the conclusion by Envy.
So in conclusion, our project has discussed some main problems encountered by FLE English majors related to harmony and the causes of those problems and suggested solution. And after this project, we hope that our project can help students enhance their vocab and English skills, as well as help teachers develop appropriate strategies in teaching vocabulary. So that's the end of our presentation.